What's up guys, today we're going to be unboxing and checking out the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the standard iPhone 16. Like every year, I like to compare them to my older iPhones for you guys that are thinking about upgrading. So be sure to drop the comparisons. I want to get these done as fast as possible. We got a lot of other smartphones as well coming up too. So let's go ahead and get into it. I've been saving my thoughts about the iPhone 16 series in general. You know, it's very similar to the, what Samsung is doing with these very small updates. But I think this update here is really awkward because usually Apple doesn't add buttons to their phone. So the big different thing here was the, the camera button, but it just seemed really awkward and just doesn't seem like a very Apple thing to do. So I'll show you guys what I actually mean. But here is the white color here. I decided to go with the white one this year. And it looks pretty nice here. Let's go ahead and get this off. And basically looks like a 15 Pro Max for the most part. There are some minor differences that you will notice, which I will go over. But you got the 6.9-inch display. Let's get a boot up on this one. And while that's booting up, you get a braided cable, and they took the Apple stickers out. So that's gone. Now here is a blue color, which I think looks really nice here. There's a two-tone on here as well. So there's a darker blue and then a lighter blue here. And it looks pretty good. So let's get that off, and there we go guys. Very nice looking. So you can see they pretty much switched the cameras back to an iPhone 11 or 10s design. So you can see they're kind of running out of ideas. Both phones have the capture button now as well, which I think is just, now that I can kind of feel it, it just feels really awkward to be messing with this button while it's all the way down here, because most people these days are filming vertical video with TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and this is extremely awkward. Let me see if it's better on this one. No, it just feels like low-key you could really drop your phone like messing around like this. I just think this is terrible how they did this. It is an actual physical button. Alright, so guys, the slider thing on here now, once I'm actually in the camera app, it just feels, okay, but again, the spot being awkward. As far as like you can toggle through different modes and stuff like that, but I just don't feel like this is necessary for taking pictures. It feels like most people aren't going to take pictures like this because of the placement on here. Is just kind of awkward feeling. But if you take photos like this, I guess if you're like a professional photographer or something, you might like this. But again, is this faster than the on-screen buttons? It really depends on how you look at it. But yeah, I just think this is really awkward, unnecessary. On the Pro Max model, it's a 6.9-inch display now, and it is a pretty big display, guys. So it's like, it reminds me of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. It's just a massive panel, and if you have smaller hands, this is going to be kind of a bit of a stretch to hold. You do have slightly slimmer bezels, but the slimmer bezels aren't really noticeable at all. You would really have to look very closely. You would have to put the 15 Pro Max right, side by side. Otherwise, it's not really noticeable at all. But it depends on what you like. The bigger display here almost kind of it just makes it feel like a small little tablet, I guess, at this point. This year's model of the standard version has the Apple A18 chip instead of a previous chip. It is a little bit, I guess you could say, watered down compared to the Pro version, but yeah, that's really nice to see what's funny about these phones is that they didn't launch with Apple AI, so we don't have the Apple AI features to show, because this button is, I guess this is really supposed to be like the Google Lens button, or whatever Apple's gonna call it, the capture button. It's basically like Google Lens. I'm assuming that's what it is, but them not launching the AI stuff is kind of a bummer, considering that the phones are almost identical to last year's model. So would have liked to see that, but it's supposed to be coming out next month. They just said fall, so we don't know when next month. Now also, the standard iPhone 16 has a 60 hertz panel still, which I think is absolutely crazy for a phone going into 2025. And this is basically to get people to buy the Pro model, because there's very little difference at this point besides the extra camera and the high refresh rate. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. It really does not do this device any justice in 2024, late 2024, going into 2025, because for gaming, even though this is a pretty good gaming phone, you can't take advantage of PUBG at 90 frames, 120 frames. So it just makes this phone feel a little bit sluggish in 2024 for sure here. So I just think that's absolutely insane how Apple's keeping this up. I don't honestly, it's like they're never gonna bring a high refresh rate to this phone. I would say they could at least do 90 frames, but I guess it's just there's so very little difference between these devices at this point. So we are supposed to have slightly better battery life on the 16 Pro Max. Hopefully I get better battery life on the standard version as well too. And yeah, so what do you guys think of the 16 and 16 Pro Max? I'm gonna try to get the other two versions as well. Be sure to give me you guys thoughts, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.